Everyone, welcome to day 6 of Prelims Rescue series. In this video, we are going to cover the topics related to oceanography and some of the topics of polity in January February current affairs 2024. So now let's dive into the video. Basically, this is a child coast. So here there's no continent shelf present. Basically, the continent shelf is a transition zone between the deep sea ocean and the continent. So here we have the, for example, just wait. So this is the continent. Next we have this zone where there is a shallow amount of water above, and next we have this continent slope. So this region where the water is very shallow, this region is known as a continent shelf. So it acts like as a shelf. So this is called continent shelf. And in the child region we don't have the continent shelf. Next we have the major cold and warm global ocean currents. We guys need to definitely remember these warm and cold ocean currents, and also we need to just remember where that exact ocean current passes through, or what are the ocean, or which ocean does it pass through or pass in. And also we need to remember the whether the ocean current is cold current or the warm current. That thing also we need to remember. So basically we have 22 plus 8, 30 ocean currents. We need to mainly focus on the currents which are in the mid latitude region, that is between the tropic of Cancer to tropic of Capricorn. In Because the examiner may ask, suppose Humboldt current is a warm current. If we regularly see this map and if we get to know about these currents, we can answer that this is a wrong thing, because Humboldt current is a cold current which passes through the Peru region of the uh, Peru region of the South America. And also one thing is that it is Humboldt current is also known as the Peru current. So there are many different names for each current. So while you are practicing or giving mock test, you may encounter some of the new names of these currents. Then what you need to do is you need to have a separate exact chart like this, or a pictorial representation of the ocean currents. Then if you don't know that current name, or there is a different name in the examination, then you need to come to this page and you need to just add the name rather than seeing it in the Google or diversifying your source for this currents part. You need to maintain a single sheet and then add on the information there itself by maintaining only one source. So these are the thing which you need to remember. If you want, you can also take the screenshot of this. Next we have the air circulation. The air circulation over the mid latitude regions over the ocean is a anticyclonic thing. Anticyclonic thing means there is a, first of all let's know about the cyclonic condition. The cyclonic condition occurs when the temperature in the cyclonic eye is above the 27 degrees Celsius. That means the eye is low pressure region and the outer surface is a high pressure region. But in the case of the anticyclonic condition, the center or the eye is a high pressure condition, but the outer is a low pressure situation. So this is a thing. So air circulation over the ocean at the mid latitude is a anticyclonic movement or the condition. Next we have the tide. Tide is nothing but the rise and fall of the sea. So this is known as a tide. Basically there are three forces which acts upon the earth to form the tide. We have the sun's gravitational pull and moon's gravitational pull, and next we have the force of the centrifugal force. We guys need to definitely keep an eye, and we need to more focus on this centrifugal force, because there are two types of force. One is a centripetal force and other is a centrifugal force. We generally tend to confuse between thing where there is a minute difference between two. So basically I try to explain the thing. The centripetal is nothing but the outward force. Sorry, the centripetal force is nothing but the movement of the force towards a common center. So this is known as the centripetal force. Petal. Just remember petal and remember it as a flower. So here the centripetal force is nothing but the concentration of force at a single point. Centrifugal force is nothing but, so for example, let's this is an object, so the force is going outwards. So this is known as a centrifugal force. So for the formation of tides on the earth's surface, it experiences centrifugal force. Okay. Next we have the two types of springs, that is a spring tide and a neap tide. Basically the spring tide is a occurs when there is a arrangement of a moon, sun and earth on a 180 degrees angle. For example, I'll show you. So here it is a earth, next here it is a moon, and here it is a sun. So when this thing occurs, we experience a tide. And also this tide occurs, or spring tide occurs twice. One is during the full moon and again one is during the new moon. Basically this occurs during this, and also this may also occur when the moon is opposite or earth is in between the sun and moon. So this is when this is called the spring tide. And the neap tide is when the earth is in the middle and the moon or sun is above here, or when it makes a right angle, that is 90 degrees, then we call it as a neap tide. So these are the minute things which seem simple when we are discussing, but while we are solving we tend to forget these kind of things. So that's why we need to keep a focus on this and we need to revise it frequently. Next we have the shoal. Shoal is nothing but the accumulation of sediment in a river channel or on a continent shelf. So basically, suppose this is a continent shelf which we have seen earlier. So this is a continent shelf. So because of the deposition of the sediment or debris, it becomes like this. So this is a very dangerous condition for the ships, because the ships tend to park them here, but they don't know that there is a sedimentation or the shoal is present here. So they directly come and there's a chance of the accident of the ship. So that's why the shoal is a dangerous for the ships. Next we have the ocean current. Ocean current is nothing but the continuous predictable directional movement of seawater. There is nothing but the movement of the seawater is known as the ocean currents. And also this is a definition which we need to remember, because it's a continuous and also predictable, and it is a directional movement driven by gravity and wind and water density. So there are three components. One is gravity, and one is a wind, and one is a water density. So these three things which we need to remember. So next we come to the thing. The horizontal movement of the ocean current is known as the current, and the vertical changes in the ocean or the water body is known as the upwelling. When it goes towards the water goes towards the top layer, then it's called upwelling. When the top water comes to the down, it's called a downwelling. Next we have the Ekman transport. Ekman transport is nothing but the movement of the surface water. So it is a whole oceanic water, but here it is a surface water. So due to the wind and the Coriolis force is nothing but which is the force which is occurred due to the rotation of the earth. This is known as a Coriolis force. So the Ekman transport is nothing but the movement of surface ocean water, which is influenced by wind and the Coriolis effect. So the surface water moves, not the whole oceanic water, but only surface. When does this transportation of surface water of ocean occurs is when there is a balance between the Coriolis force and the wind effect. So then there is a movement, and then it is called as a Ekman transport. Next we have the polity polity thing. So in polity we have the 10 schedule. 10 schedule is nothing but which discuss about the anti-defection law. Anti-defection law we will discuss in further videos. Now let's uh, smartly do the thing. The 10 schedule is or brought into the constitution through the 52nd constitutional amendment in the year 1985. This is a basic static information which we need to remember, or factual information. Next we have the article 371A. So basically it deals with the Nagaland, and in article 371A it says about the or about the protection of the religious or the cultural aspects of the Nagaland in the article 371A. And also article 371A is also present in the also asked in the UPSC PYQs in mains, I think. So we guys need to more focus on this article 371A. Next we have the privilege committee. Privilege committee is nothing but it examines a breach of the privilege in the house or by a member or a committee. So it basically the Lok Sabha has a 15-member privilege committee. They are appointed by the speaker, and in Rajya Sabha we have the 10 members committee, privilege committee. They are appointed by the chairman or nominated by the chairman, here nominated by the speaker. The privilege committee is a quasi judicial, means it has it also have the power of the judiciary, not to the full length, but a certain aspects it can act as a judiciary. Next we have the proportionality test. Proportionality test is nothing but we have fundamental rights, and also in fundamental rights we have some exceptions where government can remove or restrict the fundamental rights. Then the condition where the Supreme Court checks whether the government has been government's restriction on fundamental rights is legitimate or it is justified. So the checking of the uh, restriction of fundamental right is known as the proportionality test. Okay, so it basically helps to determine whether the government action is justifiable or legitimate. Next we have the Goda Varman versus Union of India. It basically matter about the forest conservation. Okay, next we have the delimitation. Delimitation is nothing but it is a redrawing or the process of redrawing the boundaries of the constituencies or the electoral constituencies which we are currently voting, whether it may be the voting of the Lok Sabha or the legislative assembly of the state. So it basically take care of this both. And for this to take the or do the process of delimitation, the government of India has been formed a commission named as a delimitation commission. So it is formed under the Delimitation Commission Act 1952, and it is also a statutory body. Statutory body is nothing but a body which is brought through the act in the parliament. So it is not present in the constitution from the past, but rather it is added through an act. Next we have the constituted. So the delimitation has been commission has been constituted for the 4 times, which we have also seen in our prelims 2024 examination. So the examiner asked this thing, how many times the delimitation commission has been constituted, whether it is a 4 times or 3 times or 2 times. So basically it is a 4 times constituted body in the year 1952, 1963 and 1973, and last in the year 2002. So and also in the year 2002 the delimitation commission has said that the delimitation or the process should be stopped up until 2026. Okay, next we have the finance commission. The basic work of the finance commission is to devolution of the finances to the states and to the center and the state. So here the horizontal devolution which we are discussing, basically vertical devolution is nothing but the funds which will go to the center and which will go to the states. But in the horizontal case, there are only the distribution of funds for the states, so because they are all at the similar stage. Next we have the, so basically the horizontal devolution of the finances will be taken care or have the assigned weights by considering these six aspects. So basically first we have the income distance which have the weightage of the 45%. This means that the, if the income distance is, by considering income distance, there is an assignment of finances up to 45%. So income distance is nothing but, for example, if there is a top performing state, that is it takes the GSTP, and next we have the some other state A which is not performing well and its per capita income is very low. So then the gap between these two things considers these two things, the commission considers this thing, and then it appoints or assigns the funds to the state based on this income distance. If it is a higher income distance, then the state will get higher finances or higher stakes. If it is low, then it will get very low amount or finances. Next we have the demographic performance which has a weightage of 12.5%. Demographic performance is nothing but stabilizing the birth rate. So basically the states which attain the natural required birth rate as 2.1, they will be benefited compared to the states which have the birth rate of 2.8. Next we have the area. So if the state have the higher or the more land area, then it will get the more funds. Next we have the forest and ecology. Its weightage is 10%. If the state has more forest area, then it's get more funds. So the weightage is 10%. Next we have the tax and fiscal efforts. So if the state collects more tax, then it gets more funds. And also population weightage is also 10%. This means if the state has a more population, that is like Uttar Pradesh, it will get more funds. And the census it considers is a 2011 basis. On 2011 basis, the funds are distributed among the states. Next we have the commission, and the 15th finance commission is constituted in the year 2017 in the month of November. Okay. Next we have the last thing or the last topic, that is Anuradha Basin versus Union of India. So this case is basically with respect to the internet issue, when in 2019 the government of India has banned the internet in the region of Jammu and Kashmir. So by challenging this, Supreme Court has given that it is a breach of the right to freedom of speech and expression. So the Supreme Court has given the right to freedom and speech of expression as because the internet, through internet we can access the social media where we can give our opinions and share our feelings. So as a internet, there is no access of internet, there will be no access to social media. So in this way we cannot share our information or the things which we need to share in the internet. So that's why Supreme Court has said that in the Anuradha Basin versus Union of India 2020, it is a breach of the right to freedom of speech and expression. So this kind of information we can also use it in our GS mains, in UPSC mains examination in GS2. So that's it for the video. Now let's recall once more what we have discussed. First of all, we have discussed the child coast and the continent shelf. That means there is no continent shelf. Next we have seen the importance of the cold and warm ocean currents, that which we need to remember for sure. Next we have the air circulation at the mid latitudes and the condition, that is anticyclonic thing. And next we have learned about the tide uh, and the forces which acts upon for the formation of tides and the types of tides. And we have the discussed the definition of shoal and discussed about the horizontal movement of ocean current and vertical movement of ocean current. Then we discussed Ekman transport. So Ekman transport is nothing but the movement of surface water influenced by wind and Coriolis force. Coriolis force is nothing but the force which is uh, happened or exerted due to the rotation of the earth. And next we went to discuss the topics of polity current affairs. In that we discussed the 10th schedule and article 371A and privileges committee, and then we discussed the personality proportionality test, and then Godavaraman versus Union of India. Next, delimitation and delimitation commission act and the how many times it is constituted, so that we have discussed. And next we have discussed the horizontal devolution of the funds according to the finance commission, 15th finance commission. Next we have discussed about the Anuradha basin versus Union of India, that is which is in the year 2020. So that's it for the video. Bye. Hope you like the video. If you like the video, if you want more of these kind of videos, you can subscribe to my channel. Bye.